The top stories tonight in Y News. The OCTA research team and the Malacanang Palace consider the COVID-19 situation in the metropolis as a concern and say it is not just a holiday uptick.
The Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines is holding up its call for private health facilities to stop accepting claims from the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation.
The National Capital Region Police Office will strictly implement the ban on firecrackers in Metro Manila during the year-end revelry.
China accused the United States of irresponsible and unsafe conduct in space over two close encounters between the Chinese space station and satellites operated by Elon Musk's SpaceX.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, December 29, 2021. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvnews.com. I am Maria Latoza.
First in the news, the OCTA research group saw a significant increase in new COVID-19 infections in recent days. The independent group says the mobility of people during the holidays may not be the main factor of the surge. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
OCTA research fellow Professor David said that the observed increase of COVID-19 cases in the country is alarming and is manifesting a new surge of COVID-19 cases. Based on OCTA research team's report, the positivity rate in the National Capital Region reached over 5% last December 27, 2021. This exceeded the World Health Organization standard at 5%. This means many people tested positive for COVID-19 in just a day. The reproduction number in the region also rose to 1%.
A few days ago, slight uptick. In fact, last week, wala pa naman eh. It was still low numbers last week, low positivity rate, less than 1%, low reproduction number. So, ang bilis nga madagdagan. And this is, I believe this is now something of a serious concern that we should, definitely we should prepare for.
This past 2 weeks, the country has just been recording over 300 daily average cases. But OCTA has a projection that COVID-19 cases may rise to over 2,000 before 2021 ends and 4,000 cases in a day by first week of January 2022.
By the new year, before the new year, nasa 2,000 na yan. By next week, baka nasa 4,000 na yan. May error range yung mga yan, but I'm just giving a ballpark figure. Now, what we're seeing could be, a quick increase in the number of cases.
Professor David also explained that the surge in cases is no longer just because of the mobility of people during the holiday season, but may be due to the undetected cases of Omicron variant.
The numbers that we'll see today are most likely from December 26th, so that's already after Christmas. Medyo mas mababa na yung mobility now compared to before Christmas. So it doesn't seem like it's mobility driven, and it could be something more than that. What it's looking right now is mas mabilis ito. Yung reproduction number natin is already at 1. But if we look at the city of Manila, the reproduction number I have is 1.89 already.
4 cities in the NCR are back to moderate risk classification for COVID-19. On the other hand, DOH spokesperson Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said in a Viber message, cases are expected to increase due to the holiday-related mobility and reduce compliance to minimum public health standards. The DOH is continuously monitoring the situation, and they are not certain that the increase in cases is due to the Omicron variant. The DOH is calling on the public and the LGUs to ensure safety protocols are implemented and every eligible Filipino is vaccinated. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Malacanang tells local government units to enforce health protocols and granular lockdowns amid the COVID-19 surge in the country. Rosa Licos has the story.
The palace did not deny that the government is feeling worried over the apparent increasing cases of COVID-19 in the country. But acting presidential spokesperson and cabinet secretary Carlo Nograles said everyone must be concerned about this.
Of course, nababahala kami. Nababahala ang IATF, nababahala si Pangulo, nababahala ang buong puwersa ng Malacanang. At dapat ang taong bayan din po.
Thus, he reminded local government units to immediately implement granular lockdowns in specific areas where there is apparent COVID-19 uptick. Also, to strictly implement the health protocols such as wearing a face mask, washing of hands, avoiding crowded places, social distancing, and getting vaccinated.
Kaya, ang panawagan, LUs, please enforce. Pag may tumataas ang bilang ng kaso, granular lockdown. Hindi po nawala sa equation ang granular lockdown. At responsibilidad po ng LGU mag-granular lockdown pag may nakita kayong clustering of cases. Huwag nating kalimutan yan. Huwag nating hayaan na lumaki pa ito.
The palace may announce the new round of alert level system over the country for January 1 to 15 within the day or tomorrow. But the alert level can be immediately escalated in particular provinces and highly urbanized cities and municipalities if necessary. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Philippines recorded today 889 new cases of novel coronavirus disease or COVID-19, pushing the nationwide case count to 2,839,790. In its latest case bulletin, the Department of Health, or DOH, said 10,418 cases are still being treated. The DOH said that 4,384 of the active cases are experiencing mild symptoms, 536 are asymptomatic, 374 are critical, 1,778 are severe, and 3,346 are moderate. The death toll also increased to 51,241 with 28 new fatalities, while the recovery tally soared to 2,778,131 after 214 new patients survived. Meanwhile, the overall global COVID-19 caseload has topped 282,912,372, while the deaths have surged to 5,417,212, according to the Johns Hopkins University. The United States is the worst-hit country with the world's highest number of cases and deaths at 53,174,989 and 820,929 respectively, according to the CSSE, followed by India and Brazil.
The Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines Incorporated postpones the PhilHealth holiday scheduled on January 1 to 5, 2022. Aileen Cerudo will tell us why.
Members of the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation need to be fully informed once private hospitals participate in the PhilHealth holiday. Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines said they postponed the holiday amid the appeal of patients heavily relying on PhilHealth deductions.
With that consideration po, ang inisip namin ay siguro i-postpone muna natin, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon na makapaghanda.
The PhilHealth holiday is a protest organized by PHAPPY where PhilHealth members will not receive claim deduction for 5 days. This is in solidarity with private hospitals who are still not paid by PhilHealth. Despite the postponement, several private hospitals are still decided they will disengage from the state insurer. This include Metro Iloilo Hospital, Iloilo Doctors Hospital, Iloilo Mission Hospital, Medicus Medical Center, Qualimed Iloilo, St. Paul's Hospital of Iloilo, and Medical City, Iloilo.
Ito pong sa Iloilo ay they are still determined to continue with their disengagement. So by January 1 po, ang alam po ay kakalas na po sila sa PhilHealth.
Tegrano said PhilHealth still owe around 10 billion pesos to private hospitals in the country. Meanwhile, Malacanang appeals to private hospitals to avail PhilHealth's debit-credit payment method to prevent inconvenience through hospital services.
Itong PhilHealth holiday na terminology ay mag-participate na lang sa DCPM3. That way, hindi ang serbisyo ng mga hospitals. Kasi ang magiging biktima nito would be the mga pasyente. Kung wala pong pondo, wala pong pera ang hospitals, then mahirapan po silang magserbisyo sa taong bayan, sa kanilang mga pasyente. The best way is to participate sa DCPM3 para sa ganon, magkaroon ng fresh funds ang hospital, hindi po maapektuhan ang serbisyo sa taong bayan, sa mga pasyente na nangangailangan ng hospital care.
For the private hospitals group, several provisions in the DCPM are more advantageous for PhilHealth, making it unappealing for private hospitals to avail.
Ay sila ang magbabayad, ay sila nagbibigay ng kondisyon kung magkano ibabayad, kung paano magbabayad. Ganun po. Para pong hindi naman tama yun.
PHAPPY is still reviewing when the PhilHealth holiday will be rescheduled, but the group projects it may be set in February next year. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
President Rodrigo Duterte has approved the grant of 5,000 pesos amount of gratuity pay to eligible contract of service or COS and job order or JO workers in the government. This is to recognize their efforts in implementing programs, projects, and activities, including the emergency COVID-19 response efforts of the government. Under Administrative Order Number 46, all COS and JO workers who have rendered services for at least 4 months are entitled to receive a one-time gratuity pay of not more than 5,000 pesos, while those who have rendered less than 4 months of actual services will also be granted gratuity pay on a pro-rate basis. Among the eligible recipients of their gratuity pay are those in the national government agencies, state universities and colleges, government-owned or controlled corporations, and local water districts.
The National Capital Region Police Office will strictly implement the ban on firecrackers in Metro Manila during the year-end revelry. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
To ensure the safety of the public, the use of firecrackers in Metro Manila is still prohibited during the December 31st celebration. National Capital Region Police Office Director, Police Major General Vicente Danao Jr. pointed out, only firecrackers are banned and not pyrotechnic device in the designated areas in Metro Manila.
Paalala po sa lahat sa firecracker ban, no? Na may pong ipinagbabawal ang lahat ng uri ng firecrackers sa buong NCR. Only pyrotechnics are allowed sa mga designated areas po ng kanya-kanyang LGU.
Danao adds they will arrest anyone who will be caught using firecrackers.
Ang gagawin po natin dyan ay we will strictly implement and anyone found violating will be apprehended and will be accorded the proper liability nila, no? Penalties. So that will purely depend kung ano ang penalties according sa LGU ng bawat city.
Danao further said, police on the ground will patrol in different areas to ensure that no one is violating the said order. The Firearms and Explosive Office has previously released a list of prohibited firecrackers such as Watusi, Piccolo, Pop-Pop, 5-Star, Pla-Pla, Lolo Thunder, Giant Whistle Bomb, Giant Bawang, Atomic Bomb, Atomic Triangle, Large Size Judas Belt, Goodbye Dilima, Hello Colombia, Goodbye Napoles, Super Yolanda, Mother Rockets, Quiton, Super Lolo, Goodbye Bading, Goodbye Philippines, Bin Laden, Coke in Can, Pillbox, Boga, and Kabasi. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Manila Police District has implemented a crackdown on the manufacture and sale of illegal firecrackers in the Divisoria market. Janice Inhente reports why.
Hundreds of illegal firecracker and fireworks were seized in Divisoria during the surprise inspection of the Manila Police District earlier today. According to Juan Luna, Manila Police Station 11 Chief Police Major Kerwin Evangelista, despite their continuous warning, there are still several vendors caught selling prohibited firecrackers. Aside from illegal firecrackers, other vendors are also selling uncertified fireworks, which is extremely dangerous.
Naging maayos naman po. May mga naging confiscation po tayong nagawa kanina. Marami-rami din po yun. Meron pong illegal po na malalakas po, yung mga super lolo, mga ganyan. Meron din po yung mga because of sa permit nga rin po. Ilan na lang yung mga sumisimple, mga gustong magbenta ng patago, ganyan. Simple nila, akala nila porque pailaw lang pwede na.
Some of those seized by MPD are prohibited plapla, super lolo, 5-star or sawa, and other unlicensed firecrackers.
Sabi nung ibang mga nagbebenta ng paputok, yung dinidispose po daw nila ngayon, yung pa yung last year nila. Kumbaga, kasi naging mahigpit na po last year kaya kakaunti po yung naibenta rin po nila.
However, according to Evangelista, their confiscations are fewer now compared to last year. Meanwhile, some firecracker vendors still have difficulty recovering their losses due to the government's campaign against fireworks.
Okay naman po, unlike nung nakaraang taon, mas okay naman po yung kita ngayon. Pero syempre, gaya nga po ng dahil pandemic, medyo mahigpit pa rin po at syempre yung mga protocols nga po, number 1, kailangan pa din po namin sundin and also, hindi po namin pwedeng itinda yung mga hindi talaga inaalaw.
Ano ngayon ma'am konti pa yung namimili dahil gawa ng pandemya.
Instead of firecrackers, some consumers choose to buy torotot.
Ubus talaga lahat siya. Araw-araw kasi halos lahat wala na Naghahanap ng palibagong tinda ulit ng torotot. Mas mabili ngayon kaysa last year.
Ito yung torotot na safe gamitin sa mga bata. Matsaya sila dito. Kaysa paputok na yan bawal yan at saka isa pa, delikado.
Sa akin okay lang naman as long as kaya ng budget para mas safety at mas enjoy ng mga bata.
Authorities reminds the public to use alternative items instead of firecracker to avoid accidents during the holiday celebration. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Influx of park-goers are expected to visit Luneta in Manila and the Quezon City Memorial Circle during the year-end festivities. But the respective park managements will limit their visitors' capacity during their holiday operation. Asher Kadapan Jr. explains why.
The National Parks Development Committee are concerned about the threat of transmission, especially while Omicron variant has been confirmed in the country. With this, the NPDC augments their personnel to ensure visitor security and that the minimum public health standard are stringently observed in Rizal Park. This as the NPDC expects influx of park goers during the year-end holiday.
Allowed natin dahil kailangan din palang may mga physical distancing pa rin. We still allow 3,000 at a time sa Luneta or sa Rizal Park. Sa Paco Park naman 500 at a time. No age limit this time, basta kasama ng pamilya nila ang mga bata, inaalaw natin ang mga bata ngayon.
Luneta will also operate in limited hours from 5 a.m. until 10 p.m. even during the holidays. Meanwhile, the management of Quezon City Memorial Circle also limits the capacity of park goers in the tourist attraction. They explained that their personnel will strictly monitor the number of visitors inside the park and will refuse entry of more individuals should they deem it unsafe.
Yung ating vaccination card, kailangan vaccinated ka. Yung kung may mga magulang or yung kanila na merong vaccination card din. Yun ang importante sa lahat. Pag dito naman nakaprepare kami, meron kaming mga alcohol dispenser. Pag nagpunta ka rito na walang face mask, bibigyan ka namin.
The Memorial Circle will hold a year-end countdown on the 31st of December and is scheduled to extend their operating hours from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. of the following day. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The local government unit severely impacted by Typhoon Odette should immediately begin distributing cash assistance to their recipients. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Local government units in typhoon hit areas are given 15 days to distribute the emergency assistance once they receive the funds, although they can get an extension. Today, localities are set to receive the funds for the cash assistance.
Binibigyan po natin ang LGUs ng 15 days mula sa pagsisimula ng pamimigay para maipamahagi sa lahat ng taong nasa listahan ang ating tulong pinansyal.
LGUs are required to post the names of the beneficiaries on social media or in 3 conspicuous places in the barangay prior to distribution. The target beneficiaries are low-income families severely affected by the calamity. Up to 5 members of a low-income family can receive the 1,000 peso aid or maximum of 5,000 pesos per family.
Panawagan po ng ating pamahalaan, ipamigay ang tulong ito ng pinakabilis para magamit kaagad ng ating mga kababayan.
Though local government unit will manage the ayuda distribution, the Department of Social Welfare and Development will provide the technical assistance, while the Department of the Interior and Local Government will monitor and supervise the management of the distribution. The Philippine National Police, as well as the Armed Forces of the Philippines, can provide additional manpower to the LGUs whenever necessary. LGUs are also directed to create a grievance and appeal committee in which those who fail to receive the aid may file an appeal. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Several presidential and vice presidential bets continue to send assistance to Typhoon Odette hit areas. Nel Maribuhok reports.
The Unity Alliance led by Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio have returned to Southern Leyte and Siargao Island to give more aid to Typhoon Odette's victims. The tandem also gave financial aid and food packs to the local leaders of Surigao del Norte, Negros Oriental and Dumaguete City. They assured that they will deliver aid to local leaders regardless of their political affiliations in the hopes of uniting them for the rehabilitation of areas badly hit by the typhoon. Vice President Leni Robredo bared her plan to build safe houses for families displaced by Typhoon Odette in the Nagat Islands when she went back to the province Tuesday, December 28 to bring food relief. She said the province set aside 5 hectares of land for housing so that those living in the danger zones will already be permanently relocated. Robredo promised partnership with LGUs. His running mate Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan flew to Bohol to distribute relief package. He sought the help of fiberglass manufacturers in the country to help thousands of fisher folks whose boats have been destroyed.
Makakaasa sila na we are doing as best we can to provide assistance. At humihingi kami ng panawagan din, hindi lang sa gobyerno, sa private sector, pagtulungan natin.
The wife of Manila Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso, Diana Lin, together with other volunteers from the relief operations team of the city, went to Antique to hand over relief goods consisting of food packs and bottled water to affected residents. While Moreno's running mate Doc Willie Ong goes to Cebu City to donate boxes of medicines, vitamins, and food packs. Other presidential aspirants like Senators Panfilo Lacson and Manny Pacquiao have no reported activities today. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has successfully conducted the nationwide mock elections today in preparation for the 2022 elections. Dante Amento tells us why live. Yes, Dante, good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, William. COMELEC spokesperson Director James Jimenez disclosed that based on initial report they received at 11 o'clock this morning, there were polling centers in different provinces which had high voter turnout in today's mock elections. Others even exceeded the expected number of voters participating.
In Taguig, in Ususan, we actually exceeded the number of expected voters. We were expecting 100, but we got 120 voters. And they've closed that voting down already. From the regions, in Zamboanguita, Negros Oriental, we had more than 80 out of 100. We're still getting the reports from other places, but I think from the figures that we already have, it looks like mataas po yung ating turnout ng voters for this mock election.
Though the poll body previously said they are not targeting for a high turnout of voters, but to check whether the automated election system is running smoothly.
We don't expect this to be a high turnout event, right? Historically speaking, ang mga Pilipino hindi naman talaga masyadong excited kapag hindi tunay na eleksyon, right?
Those who participated in the mock elections were senior citizens and persons with disabilities or PWDs.
Para malaman natin kung ano talaga yung mangyayari.
Hindi naman nakakalito. Ayos lang. Parang kagaya dati rin. Ang mga letra malilito. Pero kita naman namin eh.
Meanwhile, William, in provinces such as in Negros Oriental, Isabela, and Davao del Sur closed their voting process at 12 noon, which started at 7 o'clock in the morning. But in Pasay City, voting hours lasted for 10 hours or from 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 p.m. since Pasay City has more registered voters who participated in the mock elections. And that's our latest live from Quezon City. Back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Dante Amento, for that live report. Research by South African scientists suggests that infection with the Omicron variant can enhance immunity to the Delta variant. Marvy Delfin will tell us why live. Yes, Marvy, go ahead.
William, a study found that immunity against further exposure to Omicron increased 14-fold 2 weeks after infection, alongside a 4.4-fold increase of Delta virus neutralization. According to researchers, the increase in Delta variant neutralization could lead to a decreased ability of Delta to reinfect individuals, especially those who have been vaccinated. Professor Alex Siegel of the Africa Health Research Institute said on Twitter that if Omicron is indeed less pathogenic, then this will help push the Delta variant out. The study involved 33 vaccinated and unvaccinated people infected with the Omicron variant in South Africa and is yet to be peer-reviewed. William?
Yes, thank you very much, Marvy Delfin, reporting live from Australia.
A total of 886 people were affected by the incorrect PCR test results in one of St. Vincent's Hospital pathology lab in Sydney, Australia, which led to 486 people issued with false negative COVID-19 results. The Sydney Path Lab has apologized for the error on Tuesday and said the facility has received an unprecedented number of tests. The news comes amid COVID-19 cases surge across Australia and a record of the first death linked to the new Omicron variant in New South Wales. The lab has reached out to those affected people to rectify the incident. Meanwhile, New South Wales has recorded 11,201 COVID-19 infections in the last 24 hours.
Airline industry and other private sectors were pleased as the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, has trimmed down its recommended isolation period. Jose Liquido will tell us the details live. Yes, Joselito, good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, William. After constant pressure that has been put to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, by the private sectors, the agency has revised its recommended isolation period from 10 days to 5 days. CDC has been flooded by public comments on Twitter, with some frontliners expressing their concerns of spreading the virus even more. The airline industry in particular was pleased with the news released on Monday as it will ease the burden of facing staff shortage due to the prolonged isolation period. Other business owners also appreciated the changes as they face the same staff challenges when employees fall sick with the virus or been in close contact and needed to go on isolation. William?
Yes, thank you, Joselito Liquido, reporting live from Malaysia.
A group called Grounded Kiwis started a legal battle against the New Zealand government, claiming human rights violation. Ia De Vera from New Zealand will tell us the details live. Yes, Ia, please go ahead.
Mariel, the group Grounded Kiwis launched its legal challenge against the New Zealand government and questions the country's managed isolation facility or quarantine system, including New Zealand's tough border restrictions in place that restricted New Zealanders or Kiwis from going home. The group strongly opposes New Zealand's managed isolation facility system, which works on allocation basis at the moment, which most people tagged as a lottery system. This means any eligible traveler into New Zealand, including its citizens and permanent residents, would need to wait for their application for managed isolation facility to be approved first before they are allowed entry in the country, which with few exceptions such as diplomatic travelers. New Zealand government originally announced easing of border restrictions, allowing fully vaccinated New Zealand citizens to travel back home from January 17, 2022 without undergoing quarantine. However, because of the emergence of the Omicron variant, it has been pushed out to end of February, including 10-day quarantine period.
We had intended, of course, for people coming in from Australia from the 17th of January to be able to isolate at home. And we were also intending to allow those from the rest of the world to be able to do that from February as well. With Omicron, our view is we just need a bit more time so that we're able to pick up the pace with booster jabs and make sure that people have all the protection we can provide for potential Omicron cases.
Full home isolation in New Zealand is not permitted, unlike its neighboring country, Australia, which has slowly opened up its borders to eligible non-citizens without needing to quarantine as long as they are fully vaccinated. Mariel, the judicial case is set to be heard in the Wellington High Court on 2 consecutive days in January 25 and 26. 170,000 New Zealand dollars funding have already been raised by the group to support the legal proceedings. Mariel?
Ia, how does Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern explain the concerns regarding citizens not being allowed to enter the country?
Mariel, PM Ardern explained that the government cannot legally stop the citizens from entering the country. However, it is important to note that there will be delays with the scheduled travel dates and that the government is doing everything to protect its citizens by controlling the border. Back to you, Mariel.
Thank you, Ia De Vera, for that live report.
Meanwhile, Chinese web users slammed U.S. billionaire Elon Musk and his companies on social media for unsafe conduct in space. Maeve Yandog will give us the details live. Yes, Maeve, good evening. Go ahead.
William, in a document submitted by Beijing to the UN Space Agency this month, China's Tiangong space station was said to take evasive actions to avoid collision with 2 SpaceX satellites by Elon Musk that moved into its orbit. The 2 close encounters prompted China's space station operators to change its course and ensure the safety of the in-orbit astronauts, according to China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian.
I can confirm that in July and October this year, SpaceX satellite links made 2 close encounters to the China space station twice. During this period, Chinese taconauts were executing missions in the space station. Out of security reasons, the Chinese space station adopted preventative collision avoidance control.
Elon Musk faced heavy criticisms from Chinese social media users, with one of the hashtags on the topic racking up 90 million views, echoing a common response from the users to boycott Tesla. Furthermore, Zhao Lijian also asked the UN Secretary General to circulate the information on the dangerous phenomena to all states parties as part of their obligation under the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. Meanwhile, Jonathan McDowell from Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics said that both Starlink and China are big contributors to space debris, making evasive maneuvers more frequent. So far, SpaceX has not responded to a request for comment. William?
Yes, thank you very much. Mavian Dog reporting live from Australia.
In other news, after reopening for 2 days, the Manila Baywalk Dolomite Beach has been closed again to the public until next year. JP Nunez explains why live. Yes, JP, please go ahead.
Yes, Mariel, as Department of Environment and Natural Resources wants to ensure Manila Dolomite Beach will not be COVID-19 super spreader, new schemes will be implemented as DENR will reopen the man-made tourist spot on January 4. It was a dry run to test their online registration portal to control the number of visitors that will go to the Dolomite Beach.
Sa ngayon itong 28-20 na last day namin ngayon. Tinest lang namin yung aming sistema. We want to perfect yung system para sa January medyo maayos na. Yung papasukin lang natin yung dapat fully vaccinated, ano? And then at the same time dapat 12 years and above ang age. Yung 11 pababa hindi natin papayagan. So ito yung talagang maigpit natin para naman in compliance with the health protocols ng AITF.
Online registration through QR code which may be accessed through DENR official Facebook page and website will be required. With the new system, only 300 individuals will be allowed inside the Dolomite for a maximum of 1 hour. Only those who have completed their COVID-19 vaccination will be allowed inside. Children 11 years old and below will still be prohibited.
Papasok yung mga bata kasi hindi pa nga daw matao.
Okay.
Kaya sinaray lang namin. Ayun, papasyal muna namin sila sa ang gusto nila. Baka sa Lunita na lang kami para makapaglaro yung mga bata.
Hindi kami nag-check. Nagpunta na lang kami basta. Ito, uwi na lang ulit. Hindi pinapasok eh. Ayos naman, okay naman. Picture na lang sa labas.
Mariel, DENR said 2-day temporary reopening of the Dolomite Beach has been successful so far to test the new system. Dolomite will begin continuous operation by January 4 from 6:30 a.m. up to 5:30 p.m. That is our latest live. Back to you, Mariel.
Thank you, JP Nunez, reporting live from Quezon City.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God from the book of James, chapter 1, verse 22. And it says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves."
And those are the reasons behind the news, December 29, 2021. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Mariela Toza reporting live from Perth, Australia.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.